The other one is ice fishing, but this motherfucker is fly, okay? Lots of salmon. This next one is it's an original lyrics with an old tune. I got rid of all the sectarian violence in the old tune. Because I don't like sectarian violence. Well, my name is Abel Organ, I'm from Grandma Britain. And for 45 years there I got myself fit. I was forced out of fishing back in '92. And I didn't know then what the hell I would do. Faded or injured another fine turn with the old timely passing of the old copier. Who left me a letter, some books and a suit, and a witness to leave me an old wooden flute. Sure was not even 3 miles from old Barrel Slave. Oh, learned this he was known up the coast far and near, and traveled by and by to each come home here. One Mozzie morning, right before he died, he come down to the house and he took me aside. Son, now you're bothering to learn a new trade. For a living I've done all the money that I made. The big plays itself, sir, that's God's honest truth. I want you to inherit my old wooden flute. Turn a wood, the tune that the flute couldn't play. So we took a long weekend to properly grieve. We took 16 beers and big good puzzle schemes. Up to his camper at Barishwabrook, along with the wife and daughter Sunday. Well, I might as well let that old book on the shelf, for the flute knew them better than I know myself. They made me go sleep in this canvas tent, where I toodled away souls in my heart's content. Toodalay. If you want to find dildo, try to meet today. So I packed my belongings on the OCN bus. Then I took off for St. John's Wood to Auschwitz. For I don't own a motorbike, I don't own a car. In the city of Shakespeare to take yet the white car. 3 in the morning, the cops came by. With the sirens and screaming that the lights were right. But my lovely neighbors, their babbies, their pets, just to welcome my musical journey steps. Toodalay. Sure you won't play a thing with an earthling like that. That's what the RUC said anyway. I told them to go fuck yourselves. Well, I never considered a life in the arts. Back home with the boys in the lounge playing darts. And here I can fletcher my whole life away. With the winnings, the tune that the flute can still play. I'll never know trouble nor ill-favored dream, or lose all I got on a pyramid scheme. A homeless old tinker wouldn't marry a toot, so long as I cherish this old wooden flute. Toodalay. Sure as 6 miles from Georgetown before Saturday. Toodalay. Sure as 6 miles from Shea Heights to Robin Hood. Bye-bye, sectarian violence. Get the fuck out of here. Yay! That was my plan. This is from a movie. See if you know the movie. Arizona moon keeps shining. I gotta wait till these boys are done. Well, the Arizona moon keeps shining on the desert skies above.
Maybe I get through it this time? Yeah. Yeah. little cowboy. Won't you close your eyes and then dream? Anybody in the chat yet? No. Close your eyes and dream. Gotta do another synchronization. The music's not gonna, hurt, but it's not gonna help either. Won't you close your eyes and then dream? Dream of someone. I shouldn't do everything in E. Banjo ending. Banjo, huh? Is this the banjo you say, yes?
Thank you, Peter. I don't know who's next.
Peter's the host. Yeah, it's the Three Amigos. You got it right, pal. Peter McGuire is the name of the host down at the Black Sheep. They do an open mic on Sundays, whatever the hell that day is. Actually, I think Sunday today is actually Tuesday. This week, Sunday is Tuesday, so that would be in another, well, a tenth plus another, what, 500ths, so yeah, quite a few hours away. Let's leave it at that. Anyone's wondering about the new time scheme I'm enforcing, I'm enforcing it. I've lined it up nicely though, don't you think? The way the text all lines up with the commas and the commas? No, periods and colons. And right now it's a lot of 4s and 8s, but funny, hey? And all together it's like, oh, it's 8 digits, right? 8 digits when you include the week. But X could be like any number, up to 72. Anyway, this is all beside the point. What I was doing here, see, I'd already earlier lined up the footage with the car, Challenger. And there's going to be a moment in this footage where Challenger passes. This footage being something that was lately posted to Cy Borgerson's channel. I should really put a link to this footage, although we were discussing it in the last stream too. Started off with watching this one. It's the moments after the accident. Now, I think this is, I'm trying to remember whose camera we're actually watching here, but it's probably Book Depository and at full screen, maybe? Yeah. So let's look at GK. GK is actually the one I want to see. Although, right? Right? If he's this far up, this must be Rebel. Underneath, yeah. That must be Ford. Running. This must be GK. Much better. I know that GK isn't encountered until like 2 minutes into this clip. Already. Which should be close to the end of GK. How far back does this thing need to be? Uh-oh. this thing is what I'm talking about. This is the one on top. I'll hide it just to show which one I mean. Hide, unhide, okay? This is the UVA courier view. It's up by the public parking garage. Hey, I guess I know where that is. It needs to be farther back in time. I'm starting to hurt my head. Let's see. Thanks for the ad, Xfinity. He says, here comes a car. I mean, the car is passing in front of the garage now, according to my calculations from earlier. A wild-ass guess at how fast he has to cruise along here. So all I'm doing now is scrubbing forward in time along it to see when the Challenger passes. There's the chopper. And it's hovering and it's overhead roughly on Market. But it's on the block between Market and Main. Which puts this guy pretty close. You never guess to where. We could look at Ford again. Perhaps I should put Ford in an overlay over here somewhere. Because Ford does have an overlay provided. I put one on him a long time ago. Haha, hello Ford. Gonna hard position him now. Because we don't need to see a lot in GK's lower quadrant, or upper quadrant either. Negative 27 will do nicely. We should work on both. Right on. There's still like a gap around the edge of the image here, but I could make this, since it's overdrop, I could make this a lower opacity as well. Although sometimes it works better when it's not too, I think barely opaque works best, so you still get a sense of what's happening behind here. If there's a sense of these things overlapping, then that's a, how to put it, that's a coincidence. But in this case, this wall actually does overlap sort of with this wall. It's farther up the lane, but this is correct perspective on both these angles at the moment. They just happen to line up. So it doesn't break the line too much, especially if you're looking at the map to know who's where and why it is. Because if you look at both their cameras at that moment, they should both basically be in the same perspective. Did I miss the Challenger already? I may well have, that would have been funny, but I thought he watched him from the front and tracked him. There it is. God damn, that gotta go back some... What? I'll be damned if you don't. Look, there you go. He sees him coming. I know that he mentions it. I made note of that when I watched the video the first time. Laird, Dyens, man. I gotta put that up here somewhere. 1, 2, 3. Grab on the Y. Now that it's in perspective again. This isn't so bad because Ford Fisher is currently an overlay over GK, which doesn't need an overlay applied. So GK underneath, Ford Fisher here, and UVA Courier here. And I think this indicates that I need to move this back in time to about here, which means damned if he's not there for longer than the accident. If this starts at after 8:20 and ends at around 10:40 seconds, that's almost longer than the time of the accident. Fuck, man. Fuck, man. That's really hitting my head here. 40, look at the time. Started, it was 4:20. If you didn't notice. Yeah, 4:20. There's a lot of 4:20s in here. At least 10 of them. That's 10 a week, man. That ain't much. How many 4:20s in your week? 14 you say. See? Which of us has the problem? Anyhow. I want to like physically mark this, but I don't want the marker to be a long-term marker. So this is only for temp marker. I'm going to get rid of this frame, but this is estimate of Challenger Viz. This is Mark 7. But this is not the actual what Mark 7 is going to be. I'll show you what I mean by Mark 7 in a minute, because Mark 6 Getaway is over here. Hey, Alan Locke. Shortly after Challenger goes by, you hear the guy recording say the cop got him. That cop got him. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I heard that. And then he doesn't keep the camera trained over there, and I don't see the cop pull him over. I see more of the sense of the Challenger accelerating away. I'm going to watch that again real careful now, Alan. Yeah, 205 in a new video. I know. That's what I'm tracking down right now. Because when the Challenger's first visible, I'm going to line that up against my best estimate of what his speed must have been after Gilmore last saw him. He must be on the same track after that. There's a huge overlap before 202 or 205. Yeah, you can see the white car. Right. I hear you. So what I'm doing now is going back in time to where I estimate the Challenger might have been. If the two don't line up when GK is spotted here, then I know that it's wrong. I can adjust it. I can adjust Challenger speed to coincide with GK. I could do this in advance, but I'm more curious about the fact that the chopper is overhead. I'm kind of sure we can match this in time with Ford Fisher alone. Let's see what happens. Ford is so close to the... I think Ford is close enough to the chopper as indicated in this same video. Where is Ford right now? That's... oh, he's up around the hill. I think when Ford is up here on Main, might be when he spots the chopper overhead, which is earlier. And Ford is up here on Main to about here. Judging by Ford. Let's see what happens. Challenger all the way over here right now. He spots him. He won't be in that lane. He'll be up here. He's in that lane. He's going that way. Is this another case? It can't be another case of reversed. Alright, that one, and that one. I'm going to use my mouse to do the measurement. This is a really rough estimate. Wicked. Look at this. Did you think this possible this video starts here? Ford is just getting back from having his drink. Which would account for this. When Ford has got the chopper overhead and they're trying to talk. That's the area where I did the audio cleanup the last time. When the chopper is at its loudest. Might be when he looks up to see where the chopper is. Oh, shit. Here we go. It accounts for the noise over Ford, too. They should be around about the same point in time. Accident is just occurring. You'll see why in a minute. The map at the top. Challenger's yet to clear the... Well, there's Gilmore. There's the Egyptian Mo Stab. There's Gilmore again. There's Challenger hitting the top of the hill. It's in the map at the top. There's Challenger turning. I think I might want to turn Ford back to 1. I'll tell you what else I'm going to have to do. I think I got an effect applied to GK for coloration. Oh, I got them both turned off. Okay. Challenger's now hitting the block where he's on. Should be passing by in front of him. Damned if he don't start accelerating right there. So I got him pretty good right up to there, eh? I think I got him. These guys are already pretty close in sync. The helicopter sounds are going to be what allows me to sync them really good. It's going to be Ford's audio on the helicopter, if nothing else. What I don't need is all this extra. So for now, I'm going to temporarily make a cut in the footage. It's going to be a shift K though. It's going to be a hard cut. Don't run the rest of this. Challenger Mark 7. This is where he's beginning his getaway. Oh, that was the old one. Right. Here's the real one. Getaway. That was my old estimate. Now I know where it actually is. It's somewhere closer to here. But all the same, I need to know where the helicopter's through, huh? Where do we get the closest shot of the helicopter? Right there. So on his audio, I should expect to see on the waveform definite signs of the helicopter. While stretched out this a ways. I don't need to hear Ford right away. It's channel 4. Cool. Go to graph editor for a minute. Turn this off too. Some of the drone that we're going to hear in the sense of the drone, some of the tones in the chopper are going to be directly related to, how to put this, what pitch the blades are at, due to like the way that the helicopter's being flown. So if it's moving one way or another, if it's hovering, or if it's spinning around, for example, to allow itself to tip forward and start moving forward in a specific direction, there'll be a definite change in the audio. I need to move channel 4 up to 31. So let's go down and get channel 4. Move it to channel 31 for a minute. This is so I can easily sync one against the other by having them side by side. And Ford has already had an audio removal made to it to make the helicopter less audible. So this is not going to be the easiest thing to sync anyhow. It's on Ford. It's together. It's closer to one of them. That tone right there, downwash. Hovering. Those beeps. There too. That's when he's looking up at it, right? By that time, he's getting to the top of the hill. So he's still hovering here. Just assuming, of course, we're listening to this on the clip that isn't synchronized yet, but I mean to say in the synchronization, if that's what we're listening to right now, which is roughly in the right time, he's getting to the top of the hill. Should also be audible on Ford. Some of this noise is this noise. That and that may be the same. I need just to hide this and alt hide that one. Is this wash we're hearing here again? Getting to the top of the hill, remember, by ear. Heavy downwash up here. I got a good mind to try to isolate all the human voices out of that and just listen to the helicopter. It's horrible to say that. I gotta listen to this from the beginning.
I don't know what to think.
So there's a low end tone there. It's higher than 140.
Huh?
It's rather hard to say.
It's only now starting to pick up. It's getting louder and getting louder all the way up to here.
What do you think?
Sounds more like it's a small aircraft or something when it's this helicopter's engine drone. So it sounds like any other civil aviation.
I don't know what to think.
Except for the blades. Gonna try that against this one now. That might well be a easy enough synchronization tool. Reason, maybe that's what tipped this guy off. His audio's shittier even than Ford's.
So now, here at Market Street Garage, a lot of the protesters are leaving.
Damn if it don't sound like it's coming from... I mean, we know which way it's coming from. Total hover there, I think. Probably too much on the go here. I'm going to hide that one. Gonna hide Gilmore too. Don't need to see this one. We'll keep GK on for now. Double the frame rate.
This car, here comes a car that's totally smashed. And looks like a cop just got him.
Wow, we got a mirror shot indeed, but I don't know if it's a very useful one. This is something that's directly behind them, thus parked in the direction coming from. And if a cop just got him, it's got to be on this side, right? Going in that direction. Because it's a mirror. He resets. At least he was kind enough to reset the shot. Yeah, not a park one. Cool. This is already blown up by 2 times. We're talking back here through these lights, which I guess is what, 7th Street? Or, yeah. Somewhere up here. Oh, there is something there, white. The mirror shot, I see something gray getting away. So unless that's a car, like a cop car going after him. Which case, what he means is this cop got that guy. This guy got the bells going, or the lights going. The whistles are next. Hey, none. He says it right after, man. He says it right after he drives by. But I don't see any indication of it. There's something on the go up here. Looks to me like the cop took off after him. So since I put the last marker down imprecisely and knew it at the time, that's obviously the first site we got a challenger. Ooh, right about there. So I'm going to grab that marker and shove it back right to here. Reach the end of our camera area, maybe someone across the street. I don't know. I don't mind covering the last few seconds of the getaway, though. Because he's definitely going slower here than he is afterward. Slower in the oncoming lane, like. Conscientiously using his accelerator there to get into his own lane. Right now, this is only roughly synced against the map. An estimation on the map, not anything else other than...
This car, here comes a car that's totally smashed. Looks like a cop just got him.
He means this guy and that guy. Ah. I see what you mean. Does he turn? Lights are on. Ah, I see why. Yeah, okay. His lights are on, sure. It's pretty blurry, but you can still tell there's something going on the top of that car. And it ain't sunshine. Jeep gave an audio cue. Yeah, I know it did. I'm still using the first sign of it, like actual photons, to check against where my map says more or less I might expect to find it. And the estimate of time is decent enough. Now, the real thing to sync against is late. GK is already displaying, so I'll scroll ahead a little till the two of them meet up at the top of the run. And I don't know what yellow Jeep guy looks like yet, but I should know darn well when he meets him. It ain't in the wrong lane, it's in the mirror. Get it? When he says cop got him, he's in the right lane because he goes to the right lane. And then he says, hey, a cop got him. I thought about that too, but hey, there you go. This is when he goes back into his proper lane, not in the mirror. So now he's back on the right side of the street. So that car is barricading traffic. Not unlike the one that was, well, the minivan. Yes or no? Right? And then he says, the cop got him. So he looks in the mirror. Oh yeah, he might have swung out around him. But if that's the case, then yeah, is that a cop or not? Or is that the car? I don't know. Huh. Maybe he swung out around him. I think a cop pulled him over right there. What a neat little tie-up. I guess they had a chopper already on the out. They only had a chopper overhead the whole time. Why wouldn't they have a cop already kind of waiting to cut him off? And if it's, you know, if it's somebody the cops know, hey, where's GK? Okay, 5th, 4th. When the cops arrive, okay. My favorite part. Of course, it's not going to be in sync until I get this right. This guy? Nah, because GK is not even anywhere near him yet. Farther up the hill. Right here. Thing is, I know which way he's pointing, Mr. GK. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I caught him there a minute ago. He's the dude with the yellow wristband. Just to get the angle, and look how close GK is to the APC. It's him. He's holding his phone upright. Here's the APC. GK's long or a funny lens make this look like it's farther away. But he passes them as he passes through two people too. So right or wrong, this one needs to move back in time. Not much, but it does. I made a hard cut on it too, so if I need to fix it, I'll fix it by loading it again. Cop may have been at the intersection of black traffic. Escort the car to the drop spot. True. Funny to think they would have a helicopter right overhead and not be able to vector something to catch it though. If they would know where it was exactly. That's what the chopper does best. See GK through the guy with the microphone already? He's too far back. We're pretty close though. Look where I made the cut. That was a wild ass guess. GK's audio and his audio should coincide here. Let's put Ford back where he belongs. Channel 4. Let's go get GK's audio. I think it was channel 31, wasn't it? Draw the waveform. I don't need to see Ford's waveform. That's just overkill. Some of these sounds, wherever they cross paths explicitly. Oh, look! Did he flip his phone around? This is the new sample. This is the new sample, and this is where he crosses the street. Oh, never mind. He crosses paths with a cop, and then never mind. I think GK should be about there when I was at that last sync point. And they're going to be that close together. In fact, I can tell when he last steps and stops moving. Oh, maybe he doesn't, huh? Okay. This one now needs to be nudged frame by frame. Strip input and then edit strip. The actual strip control is here. So the start frame needs to go back in time. Probably by a few frames here or there. See, GK has yet to address these two people and get close enough to them to pass them. Which is this person and this person. So when GK is stepping right across here, we should be seeing some indication of this guy also taking a step with his left foot. I could make a mark on here and make this easy on myself. Since this is the time I want it to go to. It's got an explicit frame number put onto it. I can use that for math purposes. 10, 2, 3. Right there, like it's about 2 seconds off. Minus 60. Now, how will I get it right? I gotta play through and watch for... Looks like the camera's bouncing the most when he's actually takes steps. That was a big one there, the left foot. I think that's pretty close to it. Damn, talk about a thing to sync against. Dude, you might have made the cop, but the cop made you. Start frame, copy. Move that over onto this audio frame. Now they're in synchronization. This one, I think that's strip number 1, unless I'm mistaken. Channel number 1. That should now be in synchronization with Ford Fisher et al. This should make a heck of a difference on the sound of the chopper overhead. I'm going to change the audio quality, or the audio volume. Because he's not at the epicenter, it doesn't matter so much if he's turned down low. But this latter part of the audio is getting louder as he gets closer to epicenter, so I need to go from 90%, say, right down to 50% as time progresses and as he gets closer. So this point can stay high, but this point's getting lower. This point's getting way lower. This point's getting lower again. Dang, I want to hear it against Ford's audio. Ford's audio, s'il vous plaît. Right here.
Answers at this point, I don't know. But it's rather hard to say.
Glad to have your attention, Glad to have your attention. As long as you can see cues, man, it doesn't matter what they are. But I guarantee you, as soon as I knew the GK had been clearly captured, like, thank you. Because I know exactly what I'm looking for, and this camera is so high resolution. Anything it saw, you'll know that. Including which foot, how heavy the step was. It's at quite a few. It's at quite a few. The timing on this thing is incredible. It's right overhead them. It is right overhead them.
This car, here comes a car that's totally smashed.
Speaking of a cop got who, right? Cop got him? Yeah, cop got this guy too.
Hurry up!
This is surreal, man. Fucking surreal. He's like, now I'm paying attention because people are still running after the car even though the cop got him. Alan Locke, how many video clips is it at? I'll give you an explicit answer for this. Including the one we just added. 1, 2, 3, so that's 4 in total. Let me zoom in on this just to make this easier. But the more I zoom in, the faster it's going to run off screen. 5, 6. Stands reason this is 7, 8 with 2 additional clips from that 8. 9, 10.
It's
11,
chaos
12, 13, 14,
it appears
15,
the 2 individuals were hit
16,
by a car. One of them is conscious but bleeding
and
heavily.
overhead drones is
the other
17
one seems to have woken up, but she's really injured.
That's on the new clip. That bell. Thank you, Alan.
In front of the shelter.
Watch out, there will be other cars coming. You gotta watch.
Get out of the streets, get in the parking garage.
It may have swerved around that car into the wrong lane again. Why not? It's clearly confident enough to drive through the wrong lane at slow speed as long as it knows there's nothing coming at it. And if something were to try to stop it, don't you think it would accelerate? So as it passes through this area, it accelerates away. Sort of the way I read it too. And that's way back here. I'm playing it forward now to just see what happens. If you didn't know, right? Still listening to Ford's audio mostly. Here's GK's. Yeah, you don't have to turn though. He only needs to get around a cop which might be waiting in the lane in front of him. Cop is parked and he has to go from stop to go, right?
Everybody on the fucking sidewalk!
So somebody disclosed check on people wearing
This guy hustling, now that he hears some of those horns in the distance.
Several people have been seriously injured in a large car wreck. Police are coming! Perhaps like a stroke or a seizure. They're performing.
Him up there on the other audio is awesome. This is fucking surreal. I like the reverse angles, man. I really do.
They're performing CPR on the person in front of me.
Because you're always coming at it from two ways, hey, like this.
Viewer discretion is advised.
There's Rebel. There's GK. Stands to reason he's going to see Rebel next. Yeah, there was Rebel right there.
Thank you.
Ah, man. This one works really nice. I must say, I don't have to do any thinking on this one. However, hey, there's one thing I haven't checked exactly yet, and it's next. Which would be to have a look at how Challenger's motion must have been through that period. And I'm thinking it's probably going to indicate that, yeah, like closer to there, huh? Thinking that Challenger should be passing, since I only moved about 2 seconds and I already had it, you know, basically localized based on my best guess for Challenger. If I'm off by 2 seconds, he might have actually gone faster until he came to this, what is a roadblock. If it's only blocking eastbound traffic though, like from behind, if it's blocking traffic in this lane but not in this lane, what's the sense of it? And that's the issue. There's one lane down here, but there's two up here, so I got to start like weaving this guy around stuff. So hey, what does this one say, huh? Why, this one says this. Let it go ahead a little. Don't really need to be watching GK for this one. Hey, John Russell. Painstaking work. Yeah, I don't eat much steak, man. Look, he's going faster than I thought he was. Because he got there earlier. Got there way earlier. This is the corner of the parking block. The free public parking. Dude here is parked over on this side of the street. And looking that way. So I don't know exactly where yet. Is he here? Because we can see, yeah, he must be about midway along, right? Tip up, damn you. Tip up. Right, there's the end of the block. So, yeah, he's within 2 car lengths of the end of the block. Uh-huh. Challenger's going faster than I thought. Or faster than I estimated it. First guess. Exactly. We could put a double reverse on it. Or like cover up this side for a minute while the two of them overlap. To verify everything about what Challenger's doing in those last seconds that is visible here. That's the 7th Street lights. That's the 9th Street lights. 10th's over here. And the camera track right now is kind of marking the general... if this Challenger is the same Challenger route. Hello, Challenger. Visible yet? I know he mentions it, but you can see it coming right there. This stuff over on the side is the bumper. So the very first frame that is visible is this one. So this is the real Mark 7. There might be a Mark 8 from the opposite angle. Oh, I've got it thought about. Some of it answers itself. I've been thinking today really seriously about using, how to express this, about using the, how to say it, about using Blender's data, the visual, like whatever spatial data I got, how best to express that on the map, because it's possible for me to get if I've got a decent enough XY location to a meter, then, and like to half a meter even, then I should be able to get most of the data for speed and at time of, right? It could be a constantly updated speed, the same as simply by reading whatever the curve is. Fairly simple to do. I just got to write a simple little script. I just got to write a simple little script, the same as I got going right there. I've been thinking about it. Thinking a lot about it. Wow, I clicked on the wrong window there. This might have caused a crash. Gotta be careful, gotta be careful. Essentially, yeah, a speedometer, and it could go to anything. The thing is, the script that I write, as long as I name these controllers all with like explicitly controller and then something, the script could be smart enough to say, okay, load the scene, and anything in the scene which is labeled controller, apply this script to it. So anything which I've tracked can also have a speedometer. Any of the people, any of the camera, I mean any of the cameras or any of the vehicles. And this will all be from visual data. Will only have to be as precise as you want to be about where you place them on the map. And if you're curious, you can simply change where those positions are, either in time or in space, and get the same result. But and then conversions between units is easy enough. That's part of the script. Damn, there's nothing to it. Nothing to it. That's funny, right? I like Blender for the Python scripting angle. I think that's really satisfying. So, hey, he must be up around about here for him to have an angle on him at that moment in time, and he must be on this side of the street already, or getting ready to swing over there. So is there a roadblock stopping him from exiting but not from getting in? That I believe should be on 5th Street, right? And then another one on 6th. Blinking indicator for riding on brake. I don't know. I was thinking about that again tonight too, because Jola really does have an excellent video from the bottom to the top of just this part of the street. She estimated the distance really well. Like it coincides tightly to what I've got here. Maybe about the length of 6 parked cars up the length of it. Plus a couple of spaces for like either bike areas or X spots. So I'm thinking that he stops braking at that line and no further. And I'm going to have to update the curves to show that too. But the curve for the yo-yo I got from both angles now. Like I think I've got him figured, including the Brendan Kelly. If you want to believe Brendan Kelly, I don't know if I do. I got the Brendan Kelly estimation put in there too, which says about 10 to 15 seconds before he goes downhill, he does this. And I'm thinking how far he might have been for him to give him about 10 or 15 seconds to get to there and start again. So that he's got time to go here, here, then this. So he must be coming out here, lining up his shots, taking shots now. But that's the approximate timing. He still doesn't have much time to get that lined up. If he crossed over to this side and then ran that way, I want you to consider this. How far has he got to run, Brendan Kelly? I'm going to put a mark there first just to remember the spot. But let's say that Kelly, in those seconds before, I'm going to back up in time again, god damn it. This is where he starts to reverse. I don't know if this is like after he goes past the first time. I'm saying he goes down that far, stops. There must be people getting up around him around about this time. For whatever reason, he reverses. If Kelly is here, or here, sorry, when he starts reversing, and then notices there's a car coming, and then crosses over in front of him, 10 to 15 seconds later, let's say he keeps moving in that direction. Oh, he turns around. You got to go really far in that time and then start taking shots. If he's on this side, he has to run further before he can take a single shot. If he's on this side, he only has to run a really short distance and start shooting. Which of the two do you think happened? Because if you ask me, he was over here. The car reversed. He went over here. The car went down. He went down and started shooting. And he's over here. So that when the car goes down the first time, he's going in this direction. He hasn't got very long to get over there. And this is frame by frame. There's no way he did it that fast either. But that's the general motion of his curve. It's as far as he has to go. He has plenty of time to get everything from about this moment onward. And he's going to need to get about this moment onward in order to get a shot of Marcus landing. Got to be. If he's over here, when that car blows by, he ain't got time to get there. He must be here. Everyone agree? He ducked the west corner. Damn right he did. Damn right he did. He's on the sidewalk when the car comes down. Yeah, he might be. He might be right there after crossing this way to join up with the crowd, you mean? That makes sense to me. So he doesn't need to run even? He's just got to go like that far? Yeah, I believe you. I go with that. Alan. The closer he is to the spot where he's taking the shots, the more I believe you. Plain and simple. How else did he have time to get the camera lined up? And not lined up, but set up to take a shot like it. Man, like... And Gilmore off to one side. Who had the best shots in the house? Who had the best angles? Everybody else grubbing around the bottom of the hill. But they're all there. Anybody who's anybody is there. I got I-24 waiting there around the corner. He doesn't get any further than this. I-24 right there. Well, he actually is about closer to there. But either way. Check location with the flag swinging guy? Might have been. He certainly didn't do anything about him until he blew past him. But I don't know. Let me go back again. I'm only saying he goes that far. Like back to the beginning of the X before the Tundra. But it's... Look, Faith, Commander Cody, Rebel, Lorenz. The crowd hasn't really started pushing up here yet. Let me draw your attention to how far back in time that is. Way the frig back here. Like shortly after he goes past Ford's live stream. I'm saying he continues on his roll and, well, gradually stops somewhere. I don't know where that is. But if he's going to accelerate quickly up the hill at some point, he needs the distance to be able to get quick. Because he's going uphill. He can do it, but it's reverse geared, right? Also, I'm thinking there might have been a period of time when he might, I'm not saying negotiating with them, but he might have been standing off with them. Or they might have been figuring out their angles, I don't know. Because they had 30 seconds to talk it over. Yeah, let me just zoom in on that. There's very few people. Both of these guys are, and I'm actually planning on doing... Well, no, look. Rebel's looking that way. Lorenz is looking that way. Cody's kind of looking that way. Faith is only now arriving. Crowd is starting to say, go left, go left. The ones who are in the lead managed to get there. Shoot. Skip forward. Man, and I tell you, the thing that surprised me the most here is GK, I think, got made by Lorenz. I don't know how she made him. And if, when I say made, it does, if it has a funny, ironic double meaning, fair enough. But anyway. Intelligence work, it's a doozy. Commander Cody's got video. Funny thing enough, I didn't think this guy and Commander Cody would overlap, but they do. They overlap significantly. I wasn't thinking they would. Which means I can't put both of them on the same quadrant of the screen. If I had to do that, I'd want to flip Cody over here for the overlap. frame by frame and 10 frames a second. Not quite. GK planted himself. I think there are signs of infiltration. Well, there may well be, but I think part of the deal with the whole Antifa deal, part of the deal with Antifa, I didn't want to admit this. This is why when I saw someone comment that I was wearing an Antifa mask, I don't know, or Antifa, A-T-I-F-A. Speaking of an Antifa mask, maybe I do that for my own protection, but I don't really take it that seriously. No, that's not an Antifa mask. That's a surgical mask, man. And besides, Antifa is pretty much a controlled opposition group in North American context. The same way that there is no pirate party here. No one's allowed to call it pirates. Pirates are things that only children concern themselves with. They don't want to take pirates seriously. Well, this isn't an Antifa mask. Antifa is already controlled, let alone infiltrated. That's the reason why they're acting in defiance of cops some of the time, because they think that they've got the cops in their back pocket, or the cops are telling them, go ahead and do whatever you want, we're not going to do anything about you. In some jurisdictions. Yes, very different in Europe. And so is the whole pirate thing. That's my point. In Europe, you don't hear about this whole, pirates. Well, you might hear the pirate talk, but I think they treat the pirate party a little more seriously when it's actually starting to pull numbers. The only way we can talk about it in North America is to call it the Internet Party. And I, for one, think that it is disgusting and also a little bit hypocritical of the system, big capital S system, to delimit the discussion of such things as the pirate party by pretending that it's a childish thing. The same as they like pretending that Reddit is a childish thing, or even adolescent. The same elitists who insists on letters after names and being well read don't like Reddit. Anyhow, yeah, the thing is, there's a breaking period. I'll go back in time here. Challenger's still selected? Yeah. These are the 3 marks. This is my estimated start position. This is roughly marking it against the controller. He has to release his brake. He has to hit his accelerator. He has to start moving from 0. Probably a little quicker than that. But if he does, well, certainly there's something slowing him down here. And there's something slowing him down until about here. Maybe a little bit short of that. Reason I say it is Gilmore. So Gilmore's giving me most of this data, or what I'm taking for data. Here's the first point. Gilmore's first frame gets me this. This one is like 3 frames later. This is for speed calculation. This is also for speed calculation. This tells me that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames or so he's going the speed of his own vehicle, or in 1/3 of a second he goes 5 meters. So this is his speed, the slope here. This is the point where he starts or stops braking. And the control point for the brake shows a brake and then an acceleration afterward. But the control point is too far south, which tends to help, because I'd rather have him a little bit north of that line. He's back from the corner because the bike racks, which are marked with pegs, like vertical pegs going down here, he's kind of level to them or just getting past them, but not that far. He has a distance to accelerate, but not much. So he can't get there much faster than he already is going. I can make him there. I can try to make him get there faster, but he really can't go faster than a straight line to it. Wherever that point happens to be. And that point is the Camry. That's the XY location of the camera, or the X location. So I could put him down there a little bit faster, but the faster I make him get there, the more the slower his actual velocity is going to be when he gets there, and therefore the slower it's going to be as he goes to a stop. And he's got to go that far in Y space in that amount of time before he stops. So it's in my best interest to keep this control point kind of higher than lower. I want him to accelerate, but not terribly much. I can hear him accelerate, but not a hell of a lot. Does he stop that much? I don't know. But he's accelerating for the rest of the way. There's no way for me to get actual marks for Cody or Lorenz. They don't film them on the way down, even though they're all pointing that way. They're getting the crowd. So what they see is people reacting as the car gets through. And I might as well. Yeah, this is neat too, because you can control it as a brake. Like, you can show it that it's going to slow the speed curve, but it's also going to allow for an acceleration after. Once his foot comes off the brake, he ain't going to go any slower. He can only go faster. He even tries to force himself downhill a little bit, but it don't help. Okay, so this next speed curve, or the next speed determination, won't be on his Y space, but it's going to be on his X space. It's going to be at Mark 7. And I might as well move this one to there, since, well, if I go back and look at it, well, it's his last known location, so we're extrapolating anyway. Maybe I'll add a new one after all. I already know where it is in X space. I can find it exactly in X space by using the extrapolated curve, but I know it needs to go back in time. So I'll put it where Mark 7 is. If I go to marker and previous marker. So now I'm on Mark 7. Hey, I got this controller. I'm going to grab it. Or actually, I think I hit it for rotate here. Holding shift. Now if I roll it first. Ooh, gee, that didn't want to move very far. Is there another one? Is there another mark already on here? Shouldn't be. Oh, there is. There is. It's all the way up here. Still in the right mark and time, but this is the basic speed controller, which I've laid down, and I actually put it in X space over on this corner. Going to want it back at this corner eventually, but for now I'm going to grab it in Y and I'm going to move it forward, no, up this way. So I'm thinking he's about here when he's spotted across the street from like an oblique angle, and then he's going to drive right into the frame as he holds that angle. That's in this camera. So we'll check my speed curve against this now and see how this pans out. So he's pulling up into the level to it. This blue block. Well inside the block now, yeah. He anticipates him, but I think he slows down a little to let the van go by before resuming speed. He looks like he's almost stopped there. So he's slowing to a stop. This part's like your signature. What's that? Driver did not seem to do an overhead shoulder as he reversed through Maine, if I recall correctly. And the nut for both hands of the wheel, wider than 10 and 2. Driving a Challenger is not a typical hothead kid. Yeah, I guess it is practice, but apparently he's been spending a lot of time in that Challenger. Sorry to laugh, but I don't know how much you spent time in your car. Oh, the marks are something that's built in the blender. But I use them in order to jump to a specific time in a way that doesn't actually destroy any data. I need to use the washroom. To frankly admit it. I will be back in a second. How about I put on some music, yeah?
Oh, out in search of English gold, just given the teat of a marine effects. Out in the sea,
I like this.
in the foggy North Atlantic. Well, I am alone with my life preserver in the stout canoe. Hey, what's a blessed hang ashore to do? Here on the rock, here on the island. For I was possessed by an island late September. But maybe it was the mushroom tea. I can't discount the mushrooms, that's the truth. I found them by the Guju overpass. Out on the rock, out on the island. I had my strings and my sarcastic sense of humor. That some may penetrate, but at the break though, the captain from the side is from the blessed lower south side, and I'm on a rock till I'm on the island. No one else, they seem to see the mortal danger. But it didn't matter anyway, 'cause they all changed the zombies to now the rays I run. To scavenge I find ammo for my gun. And out on this rock, out on the island. Where are they gone? Where are the blessed few survivors? Well, what is a preposition? It doesn't end a sentence. That hasn't been the rage, not since the late Elizabethan age. Except on the rock, except on the island. Said I had my rules, and I've got my books of ancient grammar. But I did not anticipate find a new family. Family is a tribe, straight but now to a scribe. Well, out on the rock, out on the island, and a rock feels no pain, and an island never cries. So yeah, same chords as the song before. Weird, right? The Kinks doing that? Thank you, thank you. Stuff that I've been working on for all of 3 days. Thank you, thank you. This next one's called Marine Effect Squall. It's actually about living on an island. From a point of view of a person who worked on a boat. So I got the words and the song itself when I was home for a come home year there a couple years back, and I was drinking in a shed. And this story came up and I thought it was really, really cool. Not because of, well, very indicative of the way that the people think there. That's what I mean. I left the harbor at dawn, then bound eastward for land, with my old Uncle Rube at the wheel. Ocean's Breeze is her name, a long liner of fame, with a fine sturdy hull made of steel. But the glass didn't lie, soon the snow started to fly, until the whole ocean sky became a wall. And so I watched it begin, Uncle Rube, I'll grin into the teeth of a marine effect squall. With the boat loaded light, set to steam for the night, when I got my first fright on the prow. As Uncle Rube took his ease in his cabin, the breeze started to freeze from her stern to her bow. I watched the waves turn the hills, then my guts learned the thrills as the ship crested over into the maw. And to avoid a wreck, I call all hands on deck into the teeth of a marine effect squall. So with their hand mauls and picks, the crew double quick hacked the ice nearly fast as it froze, until the freeze crusted onto the breeze, till anon she took on a list to her starboard port hose. I wrestled the wheel hard a port, cried for mercy like a sport. Uncle Rube then appeared, stern and tall, took the wheel from my hand, he cried, loosen all you can into the teeth of a marine effect squall. Tears and the sweat, my eyes was frozen shut, till I couldn't see a bloody thing at all. Cousin Rube lost his feet to the driving snow and sleet, still he worked with an axe and his maul. Once I saw this girl wave that I took for our grave, colored turtle twould be the end, all was all. But with a mighty groan and creak, off the ice falls in a sheet into the teeth of a marine effect squall. When the dawn's light did break, me and the crew did awake, and barely the strength left to stand until the end. When the sun split the skies and then burst upon my eyes, never so glad have I ever been again. Uncle Rube, tight and cool and given the silence as a rule, offered a prayer as he steered into the gale. For a long night like that, it deserves a solemn chat, given the teeth of a marine effect squall. Given the teeth of a marine effect squall. When you're into the teeth of a marine effect squall. You. Like I say, half-true story in that one.
True. Half true. Actually, about half true. Heard it at a shed party. The half I can remember is true. Hey, Janet. Hey, John. This part is like your signature, yes? You mean the marks? Doing the synchronization? The synchronization, maybe. Or do you mean this thing underneath? Because like 0.56, that's about right. Sunshine coming in over the harbor now. We should take an hour off of this though. This is an hour wrong. Daylight saving time is for the birds. Anyone else on daylight savings time? More about importance of third in water. I've missed something. Something on the boil out there. I didn't know people boiled bongs. Oh, I boiled more than one lobster in my time. I also freely admit it. So hey, here's the Challenger leaving the scene of the accident. Yeah. Till around here, I'm thinking he must be choosing to slow down. I think he must be choosing to slow down right about the time that he's spotted. And maybe that's even a little bit too far back. So let's grab him on the X and move him forward. Oh, I can't move him right now. Is he parented? He is parented. I gotta add a control point right here. That explains why I had to, yeah, of course. I had to move him around a little bit in various points in the control plot. Want a control point for this moment in time. I can add it anywhere to the curve though. See how this one puts him farther back in space? If I can shift S and then current frame it though, now I can move him specifically to where I want him. Thing is, I know he's going to be slowing down when he gets there. Something like this, to allow for the fact that after he gets there, he pauses behind one vehicle and then resumes. So this slope apparently needs to be more like this. Well, it's farther back in time. Yeah, the pause is going to be well after. Like somewhere about there in time. Like right about here, obviously, in order for the guy to get past and for a bit of clearance on both sides. Apparently, he's in the opposing lane until about there. So I'm going to control copy that point. Going to lay down another one. Well, A first. I'm going to lay down another one there. Snap it to the current frame and control V to get the same data from one point to the other. He isn't stopped for this amount of time, but he needs to be at that point by that time, and at, well, how best to say this? He's going to be slightly farther forward in space at this point in time, but he'll be stopped at that point in space. So this curve is going to be flat, or pretty close to it. And it's going to be up like this a bit. Now this one, if I hit V key and go to automatic, it says, ah, this might work well for you. And that does look kind of like its curve. So he arrives, he's in view, he's slowing down a little. Not yet. But he does slow down some. You don't slow down that much? Maybe not. Seems to me like this one could be better. If I put it aligned. Grab and only on X. Now, let's roll it forward like this a bit more. Which accounts for the way he rolls ahead of him, but the car isn't quite moving as fast as he expects it. Because the car stops, or almost does, to get past. There's another vehicle blocking him this way and a white van rolling that way, so he can't get past. He must slow down. It's like he doesn't trust his horsepower anymore. Leaves at a high rate of speed. Higher. Gets past the corner by that moment. He's still on this side of the road though. He's crossing the crosswalk there. That's on 6th. Give you an idea of how much this curve's got to go up afterward. I'm going to be turning this one to free handles. Oh, I only want that one. Right? Should be pulling up level to about there. And I've already got him kind of drifting northward. From the time he's spotted, he slows down, he let the vehicle pass, then he's blowing by. This gives him the same speed that he just had though for the rest of the curve, more or less. So he should be passing the intersection now. His Y is totally wrong. I'm not worried about it. Did I blow right past the mirror shot? Let's go back in time again. What's going on here? Third and water is like the base camp for climbing a mountain. Say Everest is used for ascent and descent. It served this basic purpose for a unit embedded in the incident. Don't want to distract from what's being live streamed so I can pick it up again to comment, okay? Okay, what's happening at third and water? Well, yeah, look at the way that the geography denotes it. I'll turn up the lines for a minute. This is a hill. Here's the real peak of it, I guess. These are either going up or down, right? But these are all going up. Up, 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 all the way to here. And then up to here. Emancipation Park's also on a kind of a little bit of a hill, but it's on the rise or almost a plane between that hill and downhill. That's the rise. A base camp, yeah, at the foot, at the foot of the hill. Where was Jola talking about the restaurant? Not on 4th, but over here, right? It's where the seating area is. I guess this is where Rainbow Medic and stuff was. So, what I was looking for was this. I even think he's there faster than that. I'm going to lay down another control point and snap it back to this current frame. Now I'm going to grab Y, get it to where I think he is. Roll this one a bit this way. And now I'm going to roll this one that way. And just grabbing one side of the control point, scale this one by 0.25, so it's at a quarter of the influence it had before. It'll tend to favor the curves, which I indicate down here more. Just not geographically, anyway. Later in the comment section. Cool. Comments are cool. This such a long video, you should have lots of long comments, I figure. Feel free to leave long comments, and if the spam filter catches them, I'll let them through. I figure there might be a way around that, too. It might be find another live stream location. Let's hope not. So now I got a keyframe laid in there. Waiting for some more video evidence right about now. Did he make it the 9th already? So yeah, did a cop car pull him over as soon as he cleared there? Because if we use his last speed as an indicator, that's about where he is, stopped at the other side of this block. God only knows how far that cop is. It's a wild guess. We can see the stop line and the line of the stuff here, but the distance, we'd be guessing. It's blurry enough, could be any distance. We also got to allow that the distance from the camera to the mirror and then back again. Have the look of postscript? They may well. I learned to use a graphing calculator when I was in high school, right? And I didn't think much at the time of my graphing calculator. But that's all Blender is a really fancy graphing calculator. The thing is, you don't have to enter your curves as explicit expressions. You can enter them in as keyframes. I could even, if I wanted to, tell Blender, hey, I'm going to track this video footage, but I'm going to use my mouse to indicate left or right movement, like I'm doing right now. And then it would track that as a rotation value, back and forth on the graph in real time. And then afterwards, when I play it back, I can fix the curve if I made a mistake with my left and right like that. That's what I like about it. However, once I've got these curves put down, I could also sit down and inside of Blender and say, hey, I want to apply something which looks like handheld motion to the curve. And enter that as an expression. Tell it to apply noise as an expression or whatever. And then that's additively put onto the curve. That's really cool. That makes things really simple when you can mathematically fool them like that. If that's the case, he's pulling over and stopping before that moment. And I've allowed him to go further so we can put him back in space by that time or by an earlier time. So is that as far as he got, or did he not get further? I thought he was picked up several blocks southeast or something. Granted, yeah, he's heading northeast if that's the case. No, southeast. How far did he get? Was it only a couple blocks? Three arrested? CBS News says 3 were arrested? What the? I didn't know that. The 2 helicopter pilots? Oh, never mind. Neither of the 3 of them individuals in question. Yeah, they have explicitly announced that the two troopers were killed. Yes, yeah. These damned video links. I hate them. Embedded videos. Crashes. Sure, it caused a crash in Blender. The script has stopped working on this page. Yeah, it was Monticello. Right. I remember that. He was arrested some distance away. Blender hard crashed there. I don't have any good feelings about what's going to happen next. Hope I didn't lose any like vital data in that last exchange with my memory. Hey, the good news is everything else is working. Audio's still good. The clock's still ticking. To me, that's a win. And win we will. Of course, I lost what I was doing. Huh. Oh, crap. Gonna do that again. No biggie. Exactly. I thought he wasn't arrested right away, so I think he's gonna keep going. I think he might have thought that he got past there, but he sure as hell didn't. Or, I mean, he might have thought that he was apprehended by a cop there, but he wasn't. You see why I know that that's the car we're seeing here, is that this piece is visible for quite a few frames. Like, at least there. So I've got it marked 7. Snap to this frame. Zoom in so I can get it nice and accurate, like G and Y. Move it to where the mark is, just about the corner there. Oh man, I had that so nice. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm thinking he's accelerating. I can do it this way too. Get him on the other side first. Like when he crosses the this mark right here. Yeah, he's on the line there. So unselect that, put down another one, Control and left click, current frame. Grab on the Y, scale it back. Or not scale it, but actually physically move it. Be around about there. So from this time to that time implies a change in speed and an acceleration at the end. And then there's this mark. So I think we can pretty much guess when he's parallel to the other side there. He's accelerating. I have no reason to expect that he's going to get there slower, not faster. And he's already accelerating on the curve, but not enough for my liking. How do I know that? Because he's not far enough on the map. That's closer to it, right? Grab Y. Like maybe there at the most. Also taking into account where I think he's shooting from, if not part there, over here. Therefore, I'm trying to figure where that line might be. Maybe he isn't on that line yet. Maybe he's back a bit. Grab Y. Maybe that's closer to it. And the other thing I did was to make this side, well, I'm going to roll it up like that so that it's level. And just this side, scale 0.25. So now there's these two marks laid in on the curve. And I can use this one to define acceleration after the curve. They're linked. And this one, oh, I only want the bottom. This one will do the same kind of thing, but I need it to operate on the bottom side of the curve to get the early acceleration. So if I move him back to when I think he's slowest moving, behind that van, so the van is moving, he's not, or he's not moving as much. Be careful to save this time. I'm going to put in a mark at this next one. Estimated location at this intersection. That's the actual Y and Z location, or Y and X and Y location there. Control click there, snap it to the current frame to move it back. Grab and Y and holding shift to move it back in space. I want another one on the Y to match it. Shift S to snap it to current frame. Grab Y to move it in absolute space. Now, that's the lane he's supposed to be in, but there's a cop somewhere up here. He might have to go around the cop. If he does, he'll be going up that way sooner or later. Let's say that the cop is still in front of him and he's probably going to swing around him. See whether or not this will work against this clip. I've also got this camera track. Yeah, the getaway track. Kind of thought that would have been in. And I'm going to save now. And what I actually need though is, if I go to camera view, it'll be easy to get it. No. That guy. Want it on the getaway track. Wow, getaway track is really slow. Show me the curve, getaway track. Shift extrapolate constant. Oh, shift extrapolate linear. I need linear on this one. Blenheim's about 3 miles from 7th to Market. Yeah. I'm not going to track him all the way there, but I'm going to give him a run away from it. He's obviously not staying here. They have a chopper overhead for some of the distance. Imagine, I don't know how that they could have lost him with that chopper. Let alone they've reported there's 2 people dead in the chopper crash. But then again, I think I said earlier, we kind of knew that people died in the chopper crash due to Cenk. Cenk reported that the day of. Okay, map on the top and video on the bottom. Oh, this is going to be jarring. Just watch this camera outstrip him for a minute. And then he like accelerates away up top. This is going to be great. Sorry. I think I'm going to change the path. I think the path needs a major alteration. See if I can't find... I'm not going to use the like 3D only view to do this. See if I can't find a decent midpoint. That's probably a good one. We'll use proportional editing. If I grab it, I got the tool set up right now that anything inside of its range will be also edited by the curve, right? So I can now drag the curve out to a little more like I want it to be. Going to use a box tool on this one. Scale it up a bit. And again, proportional editing working in my favor and against me. I can make it have more or less influence. But this is against the larger selection, so I might not want to use that for this one. Grab, limit it to X, move it this way. Limit on X, but now scale on X. Now scale on Y. Go back to the camera. Ah, better. Might be a little bit jerky. I might have to fix this a little. There's going to be a sharp point as it turns off the car. Home. Graphic from video, wide driver Lizette, short wait 5 minutes before it happens, screenshot. What's the graphic? I think the faster camera track is better than the slower one. Thing is with this thing is a bit like a boomerang. It goes over one side and then cuts back against itself. So as he speeds away, we're going to be moving away from where he's going. So one mark, another mark, another mark, and then a mark for the road. Also got the moment where he passes by the white van, so I should add the white van in probably next door whenever I get back to doing the detail. That camera track I just fooled with, I'm not sure I much like it yet. I think what I'm going to do is try it again in a straight line run along with the car, at least as far as here. It's 3 miles along Market, runs from Main and Ridge, which is west of that Mountown Wall, and goes southeast to Avalon 9th, east of downtown. I gotta look that in the map. Did you really get that far with a chopper overhead? Man, oh man. Graphics map of Fields' path. Oh, right. Cool. And since this is a path object, like a Bezier path object, I could actually redraw it, maintaining every other curve. The thing would be that I want to have a key number of points on it. Hey, perhaps I've been overthinking this thing. Let's select them all. Let's delete them. Yeah, I still have the rest of the curve data, right? Like how fast it needs to be. And I'm at the first part of the curve now. Like it's the first moment. So I'm going to put that there and snap it to the grid. Cursor to grid. Now I'm going to put down a control point and I'm going to snap it to cursor. Selected to cursor. Ooh. I'm going to go into not edit mode but Z mode. Select all, add then another control point. This one I'm going to put here. Another one here. Another one there. Another one there. Don't want to overthink this one. Still called Getaway Track. Lovely, right? Much, much simpler than it was. Turn on the camera, go back to the beginning. We're going to take the Getaway Track backwards. Entirely possible. So let me select the Getaway Track, get all the points. Hit the W key, flip direction. Where is Getaway Track? Currently above Z direction. Okay, should be good. All the points. Ah, they're at -12. Yeah, I want those at 0. So I can see them. Here's the getaway scene. Could zoom in as much as this. I got it framed for that. OJ set the precedent. Ha ha ha. None. Janet, my search has not brought up the video. Search for the... What's the deal with that one? Who put that one up? Who put up the video? I think this one's too fast. Grab on the Y, slow it down. Saving habitually. Let the camera overtake him. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Then let him catch up and pass the camera. Oh, even better. When the dude says cops got him, I could put a cop on the block here and have his lights flashing. Challenger's going to be a little bit lower there. Oh yeah, and I've got them stopped in space. It's a getaway track. I'm going to keep nice and simple. I'm not going to overthink that one. And my whole idea here is that I can have this dolly controller. Let me see if I can't find dolly on the... Or the dolly. I think it's camera dolly, is it called? It's this one. This one has a, yeah, it's constrained. And it's constrained to dolly track, I think it is. Ooh la. Way the hell down here. This thing. Cam rail. So cam rail has a follow path controller put to it, but it has this influence thing. And my thinking is, what I'll do, if I go to the first keyframe on the curve, we watch the camera jump to the very first keyframe. I get this controller, and on this frame, I'll set influence keyframe at 1, but on the frame before, I'll keyframe its influence to 0. Now it goes right back to the middle of the map where it was created. set of keyframes. So on that next frame, snaps right to there. Haha! But there's another track waiting for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another dolly track follow path constraint. Where is it? Tracking follow path? Under relationships. I'm going to put this one underneath. We're going to call this dolly track 02, even though it's the other way around. And this one needs to follow this path, which is cam track. And when it's following cam track, it will be using the same influence control. It's got like an influence controller to say how much to use it, right? Oh, right, back. Thing is that when it gets to the end of its tracking motion now, I need to pass it off. I need to hand it off to that other controller waiting to pick up the track. So even though the tracks don't necessarily touch one-to-one, I won't have to actually change the camera's keyframes too much. I can flip them over one way or the other. I can let them play through like this, but then there's going to be this wicked fast snap when the camera jumps forward at the end, the last frame, because influence is now on both of them. So what I want it to do is, on the path I have selected, that one, my bad. On this one, for the cam track path, that's good at 1, keyframed. Go forward 1 frame, influence set to 0, keyframed again. Now it's got no influence this first in the stack. Dolly track 02, and then dolly track gets it. So I'm going to now rename it. This, I think, is actually going to end up being track 2. This one will be track 3, the getaway track. And then I have to do another. I've got another one already laid down, which is essentially the track which gets us over here and then allows us to pass one to the other. And I can allow the camera to drift between the 2 tracks before assuming the track. So add object constraint, follow path. I want this one on top. Ooh. Up on top, please. This is dolly track 01. Name of track. It's this long outside one. Challenger map cam. Yeah, that's the one. So grabbing that one. Let's go right to the beginning, because this one picks up from the beginning. Oh, mistake. Let's get to this one first. First frame. Don't need to see this dolly track one for a second. This is the first frame, yeah. So he starts moving right after. Great, great, great. Don't need to see this one. I want to see this one again. Influence 1, go back a frame. Influence 0. And keyframe it. Now if I go back a frame and this one's at 0, this one should pick up properly. for this moment in time. But when did it get to the end of its... When did it get to the end? Dang. Top ortho. Influence for this one right now at 1. I'm going to give it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could actually just cross fade them. If I put this influence to 0, it's going to be really harsh. What I want to do is get that one to its front frame. Camera ortho. Try this again. Okay, one frame. I'm going to have to do it this way and fix it after, because it's going to snap up here, and then when the next one begins, it's going to snap over there. So I don't want it to do that. I want it to crossfade between the two locations with a little bit of sense of easing. So where is this one pick up? Right there. Wherever this one picks up. Right on. Right? So that one goes to 0, then this one goes to 1. See how it's going down the stack there? So what I need to do now is to flip these values. This one's current value of 0. I'm going to probably clear this keyframe and keyframe this one. Delete this keyframe, it just goes green. Now if I go to the next one, this one should be at 0 and keyframed, and this one, well, it needs to just be deleted. If I go back one in time, you'll see that it's already at 1. So what happens in this interim now is the camera switches its location from where the last track ended and the new track begins. Wow, it's going far though. It's got a long time to go. It's got a long way to go to get there. This is the current 50% point. It's using raw number of frames to get there. How far is the camera drifted? Ooh, way wicked far. Wicked far. Maybe at this point we should think at having both of these set to 0. Since that'll be the median point between them. So now we go 1, 2, 3. Not so bad, a bit of a right angle. But then again, most of the action is occurring in the middle there, so why not? Why not? Turn on camera view again. This is all 3 tracks now linked together. Hit home so that the camera is nice and centered. Could make the camera smaller, could zoom it in. Let's use 10 frames. Let's zoom it in. Camera will at least track once motion starts getting underway. Looks to me like Ford's a little bit behind the motion, or maybe I've got the motion behind Ford there. I'm going to use it this way now so I can zoom out a bit. Center of the camera. Might as well keep it centered. Overhead drones covering some of this. Now, does he seem to be that far across the road, if at all? I think he's still there. I think that's him there. He's in sunshine. Throwing a shadow. If not, where is he on the road beyond? Good morning, Hilljack. May show up in a day or so. Man, I got an awful lot of videos. They want to remove them all. They're going to be... they won't actually have done anything because there still isn't any rendered video and all the clips. I got the clips. Hey, Helljack, I'll draw your attention right below here. 48.2634. A lovely Tuesday. Wasn't such a red sky this morning either. The last couple of days been red sky in the morning like you wouldn't believe. Like harsh. Ooh, I got that right. I had the right idea. This is what I don't want. Ooh. Could let this play with Ford's audio. I'm afraid it'd cause a crash. Here I am scrubbing ahead Challenger's estimated route. Looks like I got to make another edit to the Y location there. Very slight. Sailors do take warning, and not only sailors. Them that's related to them. Trading off for GK below. So past the pavilion. Got all time. You got all kinds of time to make the trip. I can almost hear the thoughts turning in some heads. Hey Jim, couldn't you make the video less quality or something while you're scrolling through it like that, so it's not chugging your computer so much? Yeah, I could, but then it still has to calculate how much to decimate everything. Not entirely sure it would improve matters much, but hey, let's give that a shot. Let's make this 25% and zoom in on it. And we'll never know that it's at rendering at 25% render resolution for the purposes of this. Let me get only one audio track at a time. I got GK and Ford enabled. Let's just use Ford as an audio channel. Look at that. We're already more than halfway towards where this clip I just added is going to start. That's a half hour. Joel rightly pointed out to me that we should probably allow for a stop here and maybe at another light. Listening to Ford's audio, we're watching GK's video.
To those who are watching, I still gotta care about my personal sort of well-being, so I'm gonna grab some water, take a quick diversion, but I won't shut down the live stream for now. If you have any questions, now would be a good time to comment.
You know, I was thinking about this earlier. What word was he looking for when he said diversion? Did he mean delay? Did he mean detour? No, yeah, he might have been, but no, he said diversion. Where's Challenger? Why, he's just past City Hall. At some point here, we're going to get a double layer of audio. As much as I like GK, his video is so high quality, it's causing the crash. It's not causing a crash, but it's causing the the stuttering. Let's put Ford on screen instead. Ford Fisher overlay. Wow, that's just redonk. And overdrop. How about replace? No. Cross. Oh, right, the other one isn't on yet. Excuse me. Camry already made it through.
I'm going to start moving again. Emily asks whether there have been more arrests. The answer is at this point, I don't know. But it's rather hard to say.
Camera switching tracks here.
What do you think?
The two-hitter audio is starting to overlap a bit because the chopper's location is knowable. The chopper is right here. It's this way and hovering in this direction. Estimated time of reversal. Excuse me. I could put a chopper shadow on there now. I honestly think I could do it. Because I got the audio from two different angles. And the triangulation possibilities with this one actually knowing its absolute direction is really hard. So the data between them is awesome. Big jump between the two though there.
Ambulance! Call an ambulance! Just drove straight in!
This car, here comes a car that's
You
totally smashed.
motherfucker!
Say a cop just got in.
Help me out, man!
Thanks a lot, Ford, for the stunning audio. Excuse me. But we don't need it anymore.
Flying out of here.
Was he talking about the Challenger again? That's where my camera tracking ends for the time being. But it's quite literally like laying down a track and then letting the camera go with it. And then keyframing a specific point for beginning and end. And the next thing I'll do with this last track I added will be to precisely locate this point and that point, so that the switch over from track to track doesn't jump and it doesn't give a stutter. Although I'm thinking there'll be a set of maps, like a map sequence for just the Challenger, unlike any other entity on the map. The Challenger is going to be treated a little differently. I'm also thinking quite seriously about having more than one Challenger. Not in the sense that there'll be one parked in a parking garage waiting to come out and replace one with the other. No. I mean, I'll show that the Challenger, which makes stops, has to go at a different speed to the one that does the average speed the whole way around. So the average one will be grayed out or indicating on the indicator what's much differently. Kind of guarantee, the average one guarantees it could be done. Any estimate applied to it may be colored differently, and that will be the one that's given a tachometer or whatever, speedometer. Speedometer would be better. I can't really do a tachometer. Then again, a couple spots. Could take a guess. What is the approximate time interval between first appearance of Challenger and its exit from main part of the map? It's visible from real early, but it's audible slightly before. When Ford is getting level to here, you can already hear it. Going from his live stream, within 30 seconds, and its disappearance since this is still being like, this is extrapolation, which gets us to here. I'm thinking this possibly the last moment he could have seen him from where he's parked. Well, it'll have been after that. It would have been at the next intersection. But his camera can't see what his eye can see. So wherever that guy's parked, I got to model a little bit more on this street. I'm going to have to do this block too. But wherever this guy's parked, either here or here, he's got an angle to get this way. He's also only going to see so far down the road, but the road tends in that direction, whatever it is. So he's going to be able to see quite far. Do you think he sees him past 10th? Because he kind of says something along those lines. Let's listen from here.
A cop just got him.
That's the 9th.
They're flying out of here.
So which one was he talking about there? The one that followed after? Or is he talking about Challenger? I don't see any other car. Other than, is there a cop chasing him yet? Car flying out of here must be Challenger. Unless it's some other car.
A cop just got him.
He's accelerating. Way the fuck down here.
They're flying out of here.
I don't see any other car going that way. Unless it's right after he passes him. Let me take pity on you. This is shitty low res, but it'll do. This drum beats we hear, thump, 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 thump.
This car, here comes a car that's totally smashed.
Imagine this is the white van. So it's him. There ain't no other car gone past since.
Looks like a cop just got him.
No, sir. If so, he's stopping on that block or shortly after. If not, there goes another one that's in the mirror.
They're flying out of here.
So did he get stopped right at the corner? And then the cop let him go? He didn't get any farther than 7th. Or 8th. And then went flying out of there afterward. No, someone came up around the corner from here. And went flying after. Yeah, the horn honked. I don't know, man. This guy gets the UVA courier, whatever his connection. He gets in advance of the accident by quite a bit. Almost a minute. So the chopper is clearly overhead and coming that way. And if we use the camera here to follow, it's locked right now on Challenger as a target, right? So
Market Street Garage. A lot of the protesters are leaving.
it says that it's down parked in the street right now. They lost interest. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. That's there. We might have heard that from there. It would have this to echo in. Oh, wait, no. That's wrong. That's up here. No. That's another car on the street up here. Chopper is overhead or to the south. Whether it can see through the building alleys, I don't know. They got the chopper to go by too. Chopper crash was close to 5 p.m. Hours later. Yes. Thank you, Rocky. Damn, Rocky needs a thank you quite often. I gotta make a note about that. Same as Nun, to be quite honest, and Janet, and many others. I've been thinking about doing more viewer mail, so to speak, like, or comments. Hey James, could you? They got sunglasses for that kind of thing. They also have visors, hey? Point is, they got a camera too, which is pointed down away from the sun and kind of half shielded, so they're going to be able to get a good picture. The top peek at it. He's looking to the south of the grid, like the grids of the block. The Manhattan south he's looking at. It's not directly south, it's closer to southwest or something. Anyway, the shadows accordingly tell us this. Look how square they are on the line of the road. Or a parallel, I should say. Sure thing, Nun Nun. Another indication right here. Oh wow, it's before the crash? I missed it. There's one horn there. Someone turned. Takes them a while to frame on it. Oh yeah, it's pointing. It's pointing south. Since the grid is aligned to the south-southwest and he's angle on bow different, right? You think he's pointed directly in line with the buildings or more to the south? Either way, the direction he's moving is at a hover. So he's using his collective to, is it his collective? No, it's the cyclic to like tip side to side like that. Collective is up and down. That's where we're getting the downbeat from. Dut, 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 dut. That's that. The cyclic's what gives him the motion in direction. Maybe he's in line with that building. I don't know. I think he's more to the south and hovering, looking down, like from this angle. So it's the co-pilot doing the observing or directing a camera. How long were they in the air? Did they go with not enough gas in the tanks? Frequently happens. They also have another common error, a common failure with aircraft of the type, helicopters I mean, and particularly, I shouldn't say the brand name, but the Jet Rangers. That's the civilian / commercial development of the Huey. Morning. Let's take. They don't land quick enough. Sorry to laugh at that. But, shit happens. What time did the Challenger wreck occur? I don't know, but it's 3 miles away from this location, according to Jola and the news reports, or the video that shows him being arrested. He might have got away, parked, gone somewhere, sat down at a meal to eat, for all we know. Crash occurred about 1:20. That is at timestamp 1 in this new video. That's 40 seconds before Challenger appears in this video. So do you want to have a absolute time for that 40 seconds? I don't know. Because against Ford Fisher, it's short of the 6 or 7 minute mark. It's within 7 minutes of Ford Fisher hitting there.
Here at Market Street Garage, a lot of the protesters are leaving.
Let's get even more interesting. Let's see somebody else. In a pinch, Rebel Z will do. For demonstration purposes only. That one on. Rebel Z. Oh, I did too. I know what it is. Playing fast and loose with my channel types. Don't need to see this one. Don't need to see that one. Nor this one. Cross needs to be alpha over. Or over drop. Gives me my rebel back. Set that at 15 for now. Wherever the chopper, yeah, we should look for the chopper shadow. It may well come across the scene. Although we know from this location, it's been basically staying ahead of the crowd, paralleling them on the map. Shice, we can tell. We know the location from the audio being so clear for this guy and the guy I've yet to put a camera tracker on. He positions him here. Oh, wow. Perspective, thank you. This guy positions the chopper here in the air and hovering in this direction. Yeah, pointing more or less this direction or maybe slightly south. More south than south-southwest. Either way. Using Ford to backtrack on the helicopter audio, we'll be able to know when he switched to hover. Ford hears him coming on a lot longer from that point in time. I'm going to stay in this and not track the camera for a minute. Perspective mode. Although first, still in perspective, I'm going to add an empty that I can grab and maneuver. We make it a cube. Oh, T would be better, not Y. Don't ask why, it's just T. I'm going to leave that at 1. Actually, it's better that way, and I can scale it explicitly in whatever direction, but on the Y direction, sort of like a vehicle, but on X this way. So it is highly directional. I think it's more like that to account for the angle we see. And how high in the sky is it? Why, it's higher than... Man, it's several, probably more than 100 meters. Like, hey, Could be hovering, well, 50 meters is better than 150 feet above ground level. 200 feet. Let's put it at 75 meters. And now I'm going to position myself in space a little more. Tricky with a trackball. This is made for trackball use too, in case you haven't noticed. Never used a trackball with it. I like to set my center point now for over here rather than there. Guess there's a better way to use your perspective. I want to set that to the rotation point for the actual view. Like about up that far maybe? In perspective. I can actually get an angle rotation if I use the camera object to track it, or some other object. Another empty perhaps. To like figure out what that angle would be. But I think he's like pointed almost directly south. Say on autopilot a little. Not so much autopilot, but it's easy to keep a direction. Depends on where the wind's blowing, things like that. But what is he doing from that location? I think he's pointed south. Ooh. Easier in orthographic mode here. I think dude is pointed south because he's observing something which you can see from a high angle from up there. And he's hovering in this direction. So he doesn't lose the angle that he's got on it. But if he's here, how is he observing the Challenger? He can only see the Challenger like points like here, like us. Can he see the Challenger down there in that alleyway? I don't know. How do I center on object? Shift S. No, not circle select. How about L? This is up in perspective space. I need to get it to perspective to really get the most out of this, but here we go. How do I find it up space this way? If you're not close enough to the edge, you can't see over it. That's my issue. You could be watching this. He only sees him for short periods of time as he's not exposed by, or not covered by something. This alleyway maybe. If he was hovering on that path, man, we can get a helicopter angle. Actually, it was recording. And Ford walks along this length while that happens. So he hears the helicopter coming on like the drone of an airplane for a long time. The helicopter's engine is doing, or the blades, I mean, between the collective and the... I got this friggin' smacked. Got this friggin' down, man. 709, yeah, I see it. Maybe I shouldn't be using Blender's playback. Maybe I should just turn off the audio. I mean, like this. I'm still listening. Now here at Market Street Garage, I'm going to highlight. This is right about here. And he's been moving in this general direction because he's hovering and moving. He changed direction there. There's the proof. Cop is here. He blew past the cop. That's the camera tracker up there, which is probably closer to what Challenger's really doing. Is that any better in playback, I wonder? Without the audio? My audio makes your voice sound like the chopper. You might be hearing feedback over my microphone due to the headphones I'm using. Possible. I've changed the mic lately. It's this one. I just played that through watching as it was happening. I'm going to use this camera tracker as a substitute. I'm thinking about putting a camera and using this parent as its controller and the camera will follow a track, estimated helicopter, and Ford is going to provide the audio. But right now, well, we don't have to follow Ford.
So now, here at Market Street Garage, a lot of the protesters are leaving.
The sun is, if that's the way the chopper's pointing, the sun is off the co-pilot's quarter, but like there's a couple crossbars in the thing. You can have that blocked behind that, right? You can shade yourself behind that to be able to observe down below. Either way, you can't see past the buildings, unless he's here or further down the hill. You can hear him change direction on the recording here. Because he was hovering in this direction. He would have hooked around and gone over that way, maybe.
Here comes a car that's totally smashed. A cop just got him.
That's Challenger, maybe. But we use this for another estimation. Chopper ain't there. Chopper's changed direction once or twice. The horn and honk so had to come off of this street or that street. I wonder what altitude he had to be at. I really do. Don't think he's any higher than, say, 75 meters or something, in order to be able to see what's happening above certain roof lines and whatnot. I'd have to do this street in 3D to make sure. That wouldn't be hard to do on this length of the building. I've already seen it once or twice in Google Maps, but they are high enough that these are going to be hard to see over. These won't be. And then once he changes direction, if we imagine these, well, easier to do it this way, not to zoom around like that, but as long as I'm at his altitude, or near enough to it. Let's say he drifts further along this way before changing direction to head back generally towards the scene of the accident. But then realizing target's gone that way. So he hooks around again and goes back. He can catch him, right? He's in a helicopter. But that's what I think is going to happen. And you can hear a couple big changes in direction to indicate that he must have looped around once. It would be low, 75 or 100 meters, but hey, they train for that kind of thing. The thing is what they're going to be dealing with, because they're in low altitude, they're going to be dealing with a lot of, anything where there's no green or no water, there's going to be thermal activity on a hot day. So there's going to be a lot of low-level turbulence and ground effect, even at 100 meters or something. But 100 meters is 300 feet. It ain't that high, but it's high enough that there's convective currents to think about. So he's able to hover and keep it in there as long as there's not a lot of wind. It would be low, but man, look, we can see from his camera how low it is. At least I can see out from his camera how low it is. Let's have a peek at it. I gotta give up in another short while, but let's have another peek at this chopper. That's why I drew the empty as big as it was, because buddy, that's pretty low. Low enough that we can make out several details of the helicopter. It stands to reason that the helicopter at this distance, with the detail that it's got, is at least as good detail as what we're seeing from whatever car that is, a cop car or not, at the intersection of 7th. How far is the intersection of 7th right from there? That's 50 meters or so. 75? That's why I say I don't think it's much farther than that. Maybe 100 meters, 300 feet. Yeah, 300 feet can be done. 200 feet can be done. It's a chopper. But that's also the issue with the drones and stuff. They don't want drones in the air where the choppers might be flying. So they either fly higher or the drones don't fly there at all. Hide that for a second for one last set of shits and giggles. Ford Fisher.
Care about my personal sort of well-being.
.410 into the stream. Now, we listen to the stream from the time we start hearing that chopper to the time that the chopper is spotted and in the direction that the chopper is moving in. I think it's reasonable to assume the chopper is moving more or less west to east, paralleling the course of the goings-on down here. I.e. they're being observed. I don't think the chopper's chasing traffic. That's what I'm trying to say. Not until after. I think the chopper's more concerned about what's happening down here, so that's what he's following. This is cheaper than a chopper. GK, I mean. But this here can't see what a chopper sees either. So if we assume that that's what's happening, see if we can listen for times when the chopper might be changing direction.
I think it's a violation of white people's constitution.
There.
Not white people's. Everybody, free speech, right? You guys get any black people in the range? No black people?
That's one. It is a bit like hang gliding. That's what makes hovering hard at low level. Not so hard at higher level, but again, there's convective currents. They occur around cities quite a lot.
To those who are watching, I still gotta care about my personal sort of well-being, so I'm gonna grab some water, take a quick diversion, but I won't shut down the live stream for now. If you have any questions, now would be a good time to comment.
See if this isn't better. I think there's another change of direction there. Big one. Bit like being a sonar man. Stardate 482, or sorry, 48.270706. There's a horn there. Maybe another change of direction in the chopper. Not a big one.
I'm going to start moving again.
Gets louder
Emily
from this
asks
point onward.
whether there have been more arrests. The answer is at this point, I don't know. But it's rather hard to say.
So much of this is downwash, but you can tell when there's a change of direction. Big one, I mean.
What do you think?
You can hear it because he's right overhead. Frame rate is just simply horrendous. Simply atrocious frame rates. Stardate 48.271013. Man, what horrendous frame rates. Then again, I'm not necessarily changing much about either one of the images. Could probably bring them closer together and not make such a big image would help, but not much. These are transformations to this one and this one, which causes a longer time of, like, how to say this, causes a longer period of calculation to occur. And the Ford Fisher's being shrunk, which isn't so bad. This one, however, is being blown up quite a lot. So if I don't scale it and merely position it, maybe it'll get better. And Ford I'll take a chance on, which he's set to overdrop. That one's set to overdrop. That should be okay. See if this doesn't do a bit.
Ambulance! Call an ambulance!
What happened?
Car just drove straight in! You motherfucker!
That's a big change in direction. He changes. See, he goes one way after the after he realizes an accident is going to or has occurred. He goes back toward that first, makes sense, and then changes direction again as he realizes where the perp is gone. Kind of makes sense. Did he lose much time due to any of that? I don't know. Did he not realize how little fuel he had? I don't know. If he ran his helicopter for 3 hours, is it possible that the engine could overheat, or the rotor and stuff could start to overheat? Yeah, it is. More than possible. It's not hard to do. And then look, imagine the angles, man. Imagine the video angle. Little Apple was trying to encourage me to do the whole thing in 3D. I would do one road if the helicopter could be mapped. If I could figure the helicopter more or less by inference. Because what I'm thinking right now is helicopter, from the time Ford hears it. Ford is located here. I'm going to duplicate a bunch of these buggers. I think the helicopter, when Ford hears it, is headed towards this direction. But he's going to assume position like this. And then he's going to start drifting in that direction to mirror the crowd. He pretty much has to see the Challenger drive through there. Like the co-pilot will. Pilot might not, the co-pilot will, and I don't know what they got for a camera. But surely they got some kind of tracking camera on the nose of the chopper. That's half the reason to have one. And we hear him make a big turn to get there. So the question is, what direction did he come from? Ford hears him. So higher than likely. I don't know where the airport is or where the strip is. Is there a chopper helipad anywhere around here? Don't know. Didn't see it marked. If he's airborne, he could come from that direction. He could come from that direction and Ford could hear him. But Ford hears him when he's in here. So I think he might be coming more likely from this direction. So he comes down this way when Ford's getting his drink, or beforehand, there's a big change in direction. That's when he sets up to hover. And then he comes this way. Maybe makes a few adjustments as he's floating this way. Accident occurs. So let's say he comes from the north. Goes that way, goes that way. Goes this way, flips it around to chase. That's what I think he did. And this within a couple minutes. Like all within 75 or 90 seconds. After he goes from hover to investigate to pursuit. He wouldn't have had to go very far, but he probably made it back that far. And if he did, I don't know how far the car... Well, the car might have been that far down range that he would see him getting away up here. NTSB? Ooh. That's it. You got all of the pertinent data. If so, maybe we shouldn't think he's on the inside at all. I'll tell you what's weird is that Faith is live streaming at the same moments of time as someone like Ford is anyway. Like they're competing for the same time slot. And she's even waiting until he's doing a face-to-camera moment to also interject. Sort of like stream sniping. That's like uglier, but it's possible. So, Hilljack, in case you haven't noticed, hey, I've got a nice little map thing done here. Or in case you have noticed and haven't had a chance to see it being developed or worked on in real time. I think we'll do this before I kick it off for tonight. Don't have to do this with no audio or nothing. But where is camera? Let's put the scale down a bit. 128 was what I was using last night. It was really nice. Really nice. Home it. There we go. So right now we get the full effect by probably highlighting only the Challenger's controller. It made Challenger a little easier to see by giving him an outside border that's slightly darker against the inside one. It's just 10 frames at a time, so about 3 frame, was it? 10 times speed. This is at 10 times speed, so at 1 times speed, the car don't have to go very fast to make that trip. At 1 times speed. Average distance speed. Like average distance over time speed. Ooh. Dang. Gotta be careful while holding shift. First time he arrives, Ford Fisher catches this on audio. This is the moment known as woo! We got the bubble already marked in there for Gilmore, even though he's not filming yet. And Kelly's going to be added here. Kelly is necessarily added. Or will be. But unless I miss my guess, then he must be over here, somewhere near where Gilmore must be. Since within a few short seconds, Challenger's going to be making up toward this point, which is close to map center. Now we wait. Kelly's here. Presumably Gilmore's close to him. For Gilmore to be there. Because Kelly says this happens. He goes over here. And then that happens. He goes here. Gets a picture. And this fits with video data so far. Gilmore goes there. Kelly goes here. It's a good way to end the stream. Like, I got a lot done for a month, I think. The mapping ain't terrible. The videos are in sync. The audio sounds great in Audacity. Quite frank. This guy's video has been rolling for the last minute. He's right here. Or over here, maybe. Possible the chopper didn't much see this guy. If he drove right, he could evade the chopper. I think. But that's putting a hell of a lot of if on this guy's shoulders. There's a lot of if there already. I think this is the most likely direction the car went. Frankly, I think it's going about that fast too. It'd be nice to be able to sink against it, but I don't expect to ever see it. I'm going to try to recreate it to some degree. I think that's my plan, the long term. Maybe not terribly long term, but that would mean that I want to put in 3D information on at least this line of buildings to ascertain whether or not a chopper flying relatively low altitude, as appears to be the case, would be able to spot the Challenger other than when it was right at the crossover. Could it see down here? And if it was hovering this way to be watching, the further this way it gets, the less likely it is to see it. The only time it will is when it's dead center, because that's the only time that the chopper is going to have a line of sight on it, no matter where it is in this space. Chopper's going to go from here to here maybe, and then afterward it's going to go that way and change. This guy's going to hear that part really well, better than Ford will, but Ford will hear it too. Yeah, it might. I've been having discussions here. I'm going to give up after this. Hilljack, we've been having discussions here about how that data comes off the chopper. And I'm going to tell you, there's a transceiver on board. So it receives a radio pulse. And when it receives the radio pulses, it sends back data. And I think it also sends data pretty much continuously. That's how the radar works. It isn't a radar on the ground sending out a beam to reflect on something. It actually sends a beam as a transmission, which is received, and when it's received it sends back a specific response transmission. Yeah, they might well. And if that's the case, if there was jamming legitimately occurring, there might be no data that was received anywhere. Or if they turned off the transceiver on the chopper, say. But I'm assuming this is a police chopper, right? Because there's 2 cops down in the garage. Oh, stardate 48.273032. God darn, I'm ready for bed. NTSB said it was a live feed. So yeah, they're transmitting at least through the cell tower. That's a microwave transmitter on your phone, right? I'm talking about FM transmissions for the location and altitude and speed data that is normally sent via the NTSB. That stuff, the stuff that goes to the flight watchers, that's not via microwave, that's via FM. Anybody can receive that data. That's why if there's jamming happening, nobody did. So the only data you're going to get is from the black box or whatever. Fields' lawyers could get that. Would love to see the footage. Dang, that's a nice video up there. And with that, this ends our broadcast session. I won't say day, I won't even say morning. I'll be back again a little bit later. Thanks for watching. My name's James PFP. This is Pitchforks and Flaming Torches, the Banjocast. I'm signing off for now, but I'll be back later. Here as the season of the bird is upon us, the eve of the season of the bird, I won't say anymore. Check out this stuff. If you're interested in this Stardate thing, I've worked this out years ago, but I've finally got it to this point where I could put an actual updating thing on my screen. Oh, man. I was so happy when I realized they had all the work done. So easy. See you later. Comment below. Please subscribe, share if you like.